Hey there, what's up, guys? Welcome back for the next round of our NCAA early season tournaments, California Invitational, where we play against Stanford at a match that's being held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Now, this is the thing that strikes me as really strange. I don't really understand why we're playing in California in a California tournament against California teams, but then we are playing entirely in stadiums that are not associated with the teams we're playing against. I don't get it. So whatever. We're just going to go forward and see what happens. We will proceed to squad number selection. At the moment, I'm still not really used to any of these players, so we will learn about who they are together. Apparently, Robbie McNellis is playing out of position, and it's okay. I think we have to because we have injuries and other things that make things a little bit difficult. I'm not quite sure why they're asking me if I think the chairman shares my ambitions for the club here right before the second round of this tournament. I think it's because I asked for, like, I don't know, some sort of like improvement or something like that. So maybe that's the reason why. I know that in game they like to do that, but that's not really a very appropriate question from the press for this period in time. So whatever. There's football manager things, you know. So now they start with the ball, and we have to do something to win it off of them. And let's see what we can do. Very, very interesting stuff going on in this database. And as I was saying yesterday, you know, it's kind of strange. Roca with the free kick. And this one's knocked up and forward. And it's Aldana again who manages to run over, get ahead on it, and scores a goal. And that's his third goal of the season. And hey, that's not bad at all. 1-0 BYU after about 2 minutes. This hit off of, looks like it was Williams' head, I think, and then Aldana was just in the right place at the right time and got the header to go in, and we're up 1-0. I was about to say it's a little bit strange here with this this database because you just can't buy more players; it's impossible. And so you have all these tournaments and everyone's tired. I'm not quite sure what thought went into that, but one guy here is not tired. That's Aldana with his second goal. And that would make this one 2-0 here in the very early going. They're asking for offside. I don't think it is. And goal is awarded. Yeah, I was going to say that didn't look offside to me. It looked pretty obvious. So Daly with it passes back to Roca. This is a pretty nice tactic, isn't it? Roca back to Daly, and Daly passed it to Aldana, and the ball was in front of the player he passed to. So he's onside. And that's pretty much as simple as it is. And I mean, it's 2-0 here before 10 minutes are up, and we're supposed to lose this match. Williams back to Garcia, back to Williams. And he goes back to Alpha Doe, our favorite name, back to Williams, over to Garcia. Garcia looks for Altana again. Can't quite find him. Daly now passes backwards to Silvis. Silvis over to Roca. And this ends up back with Gallagher over to McNellis, over to Gallagher. You can tell I haven't gotten rid of those stupid advertisements, which is why things are kind of choppy here. Daly with it now, passes that forward to Aldana, and that's number 3. And he's onside again. I mean, there's no question. They're saying Daly may have been offside, but I really doubt it. I don't know. It was kind of hard. That movement was a little bit fast, kind of hard to see. And now that goal is awarded again. It's 3-0 BYU, just like that. Maybe it is the tactic after all. So McNellis passed to Gallagher, and I mean, Daly's clearly onside. There's not even a question there of offside. I'm not sure why anybody was looking at it. It was just a poor bit of goalkeeping. He should have grabbed the cross instead of standing there with his hands at his sides waiting for what was going to happen. And we're finally the 10th minute now. Here's Roca with the free kick, and he has a shot on goal that almost goes in. That would have been exciting. So this isn't too bad. I haven't shown you much about the team. We have a whole bunch of players who are inconsistent and who are injury prone and who really don't have the ability or talent to play at this level, and yet we're still winning 3-0 here in within 10 minutes. The one saving grace that we have is that everybody has those problems. Garcia passed over to Altana, over to Roca, back to Daly. Daly to Garcia, who takes a shot from range, and that doesn't go in. So we'll keep on. We'll see what happens here next. We have a throw in now over to from Daly to Silvas. Silvis also takes a shot from range, and that one also goes nowhere. So we can see that we have like one player who has the ability to score goals, and everybody else seems to be content with taking wild shots from range and watching them go wide. we're going to make a bunch of substitutions, I think, here at halftime when it comes up in hopes of getting ourselves ready for the final of this kind of strange preseason invitational tournament. I hope that we have an actual crowd there for that. I mean, this crowd here today is kind of pathetic. And I will say that as nice as it is to have stadiums that are reflective of real life represented here, this looks absolutely nothing like the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. I mean, it doesn't even look close. Stadium architecture is still a problem in Football Manager, as we can see. I guess we'll just sort of have to close our eyes and imagine a little bit. Garcia with the ball now, over to Silvas, up to McNellis, and this one goes back to Alfredo, now over to the left to Williams. And he kicks it all the way back to Korn, our goaltender. It goes up to Gallagher. Gallagher back to Alfredo, over to Williams. I thought Gallagher and Doe didn't get along, but they look like they get along pretty well there. And it goes back to Korn again, and he knocks it back to Gallagher. I would expect if they didn't get along for Doe to always pass it back to the goalkeeper instead of trying to play with Gallagher, but they seem to be passing to each other quite well here. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. McNellis with it over to Silvas, up to Martin, and he finds Garcia on the side, and he passes it back to Aldana, whose shot from range goes nowhere. And, it doesn't really matter because we're already 3-0 up. We have a commanding lead in this one, and I think we're going to end up winning this one fairly easily. It is, who is it that has it here? Williams, who has this over to Silvas. Silvas knocks it forward looking for Garcia. He passes over to Martin, and that one is it's offside on Garcia, I guess. Kind of a finicky call, I think, but so it is. Not quite sure why we were shown that highlight, if it was going to be called for offside before anything actually happened, but whatever. Let's see if we can take off Alfredo. We'll put Jimenez back on, and we'll put Cook on for Gallagher. Who else is really tired? Yeah, Garcia looks tired, and we'll put this guy Alamo on, who barely has the ability to play here. I mean, McNellis doesn't really have the ability to play at this level either. We'll keep Aldana on for a little bit before we eventually we're going to be putting on probably Cornelson, I think, is the other striker that we're going to use at some point in time. We'll just go ahead and start the second half. As you can imagine, with no ability to buy players and with absolutely no knowledge of who is who on this team, since they're all new gens, I'm basically letting the computer handle the selection of players, at least so far, until we get to learn who people actually are. I mean, it's kind of difficult if you have no idea what's going on and you can't really do anything about it. Aldana passes it, ends up with Martin over to Daly, and Aldana ends up running in front of everybody, finding the ball and shooting it. It looked like a traffic pileup there in the middle of the field. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. That looked really, really ugly. We passed it over to Daly, and then Aldana just runs forward. And there was McNellis was fouled by Fitch. There was no call, thankfully, and I'm thankful they were going to continue play. We're going to take Aldana off here, I think, in the 60th minute, since he's had 4 goals. There is the pass back, and they have a header, and Korn is in an absolute awful position. And fortunately for us, that one is headed over the bar. Anyway, we'll take that one. We're going to take Aldana off now so that we can allow him to rest a little bit before our next match. That means we're going to put on this guy, John Cornelson, see if he's any good. And I think we're going to take off Silvas, who is apparently complacent. We'll put on Abraham Chavez, who also cannot play that defensive midfielder role. So we have 2 people playing defensive midfielder who are incapable of playing it. But fortunately for us, every other team has similar problems. The only problem that we have here is that we're trying to use one of these magic tactics, which means that we don't just change the tactic to shape the players that we have. Instead, we try to make the players fit the tactic, and that can be kind of a difficult thing to do. We'll see how all this works, especially when we have youth intake come in, as Roca's free kick is deflected. It'll be interesting to see, assuming we get that far in the save, what happens when youth intake comes in, and if it's true that we can only sign 4 players. I'm not sure how it works. I'm not sure how the rules are. I've asked questions on the forum, and I've received absolutely no response from the creator of the editor data file, which is always a good sign. So we'll see what ends up happening. It's Stanford now with this kick, and we win in midfield. McNellis knocks this forward, lumps it forward for Cornelson, who tries to lob the keeper, and unfortunately his shot is just off of range, but that was a pretty good idea. Not too bad for his first appearance in the first team for us. And I love how that list of our players there was completely disorganized and had made absolutely no sense. Fascinating the way that this works. I'm not quite sure what order that's supposed to be in, but we have a whole bunch of players sort of grouped randomly for no real reason. Jimenez with it over to Cook. Cook takes it forward and then knocks it back to Coach over to Jimenez. And looking there for Cornelson, can't quite find him. It is Joan Kwang Hyun now with it. And kind of nice about this database, I mean, you can see all sorts of guys from all sorts of countries who wind up somehow playing in the U.S. for these imaginary college teams. Williams is down. Nobody seems to care. And finally, it's their team that knocks it off so you can get like, some medical attention. Korn now, sorry, not Korn is his name, knocks it backwards. Williams has an injury, but is going to stay on because I don't think we have another substitution. And we're just lumping the ball forward now, and it's not really working, as you can see. Fortunately, though, we have that amazing back three on defense, and we somehow are able to knock their shot out. I'm not quite sure how that one worked, but I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it. And you can see that we're kind of forcing them into wild shot angles, but I think that there's also some problems here with finishing on the part of Stanford. All we have to do is wait this one out just a couple more minutes, and we will be done. And, of course, as always, hope that nothing glitches out with the game thanks to these copious advertisements that we see. And that's the end of the match. Nothing glitched out. Only 17 shots for us, only 6 on target, so we didn't necessarily dominate the match. Though we did win possession quite well, 64%. We win 4-0. That's the end of that, and we will have the final of this short tournament tomorrow, and we'll see what all this is about. And there is the worst rendition of the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum I've ever seen in my life. There you have it. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.